over the financials at the end of June, they're going to have to return millions of dollars back to the county on June 30th. Because they've made much, much, much more money than that they're allowed. So they're going to be returning millions. So there's plenty of money that the county has.
So this is my concern. If they're still not willing to give the money, then I think, if I remember correctly, their political seats are almost shoo-ins. So there's no way that they're not going to win. I don't know if they're necessarily going to be motivated. I mean, I'm always about, like, I'm a big advocate, go out there, do whatever you need to do. But I think at the same time, we should also talk to them about expanding the other counties so that for all our patients in this county, they can at least go to the other counties for mental health care so that we don't have. So I mean, I'm all on board with the plan A, but I think we also have to have a plan B in place so that they can go to the other counties to make sure their help and their treatment does not stop.
Yep.
If they close Crozer here,
When is it that we would be forced, this is just a technical, realistic question. When are you saying that we would no longer have a job? That's what I would like to know.
exactly.
I hope that never happens and that the county comes up with the funding. But the way it looks like right now, if the county doesn't come up with the funding, it will end in 90 days.
90 days from today. And my other question would be, I heard many of my coworkers or peers or whoever saying that this didn't start yesterday. So it seems to me that all the time that we've had these meetings like we had a few months ago about how everything was wonderful and there wasn't going to be an issue, this is something that should have been brought to us at that time so we could have started trying to work on strategies.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, when we started meeting with the county approximately 40 days ago, initially those meetings went well. They seemed to be receptive. It was more, they wanted to understand our financials better and better. And, you know, our CFO, Arthur Anderson, had met with them and started sending them financials. And yes, I was very positive and optimistic at that time. It was only to the last week or two did things start and get quiet, and they were not sure if they could make any headway. Which led to us having to serve them with a 90-day notice of termination.
Is this 90 days from 20 days ago or 90 days from today?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Why is
being targeted? What I don't understand is telling us that 30% has been declined because of Cerner issues. Behavioral health isn't even on electronic medical records. And you're telling me it's because Magellan is for profit? We're going to CCBH as the HMMO, and they're nonprofit. This doesn't even, what you're saying doesn't even make sense. You're targeting an outpatient program that is off Cerner, and we are on
The inpatient is on Cerner.
PA. We have been getting funded through the
inpatient is on Cerner.
outpatient is not.
Correct.
Yeah, but you're saying you're closing the outpatient and not the inpatient.
That doesn't even make sense. And we have been getting funded through an payment arrangement.
Say that again. You're talking.
We have been funded
this
through
is Anna Sarowski. I have a question.
The funding doesn't cover the costs. Some of the things that you were told in the past are just not true. The funding doesn't cover the costs.
No, we don't cover the cost of paying. That's the problem. You target us.
Delaware County Council voted yesterday that you needed a 180-day warning, an emergency ruling yesterday. So you're telling us that you're ignoring the 180-day?
They can't make laws retroactive. That's proactive.
They can, but So, but you didn't give them, how many days are you saying you gave them? 30 days. So that would give
We
the
gave
100
them, we gave them, before the ruling, they had received a 90-day notice.
they didn't say that they got that from you, from Crozer.
Yes, they did.
I think the realistic part of this is either way, Prospect is a huge for-profit company. They'll go to court at the end of the day. They're not going to follow this whatever 6-month thing. They'll just go to court. They'd rather save the money than keep us open. They're just going to go to court, so we'll still be screwed in 2 months.
Exactly.
Unless the county comes
agree.
up and assists us.
But they say you're going to get
So
those
we should
millions
all
of
start
dollars
looking for jobs,
and wind up
pretty much.
closing us.
That's the other thing is.
We should all
You know,
start
you're
looking for
gonna-
new jobs.
Money, so you're going to walk away and then close us.
There's
Do
too
they
many people
realize
talking-
the
there are too many people
consequences of
talking
closing
at the same
crisis?
time.
I just want to say, with crisis closing, do they realize what horrible things are going to happen in this area? We closed drug and alcohol. We closed crisis. We already lost our drug and alcohol program, inpatient, and we're going to have a whole nother pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it. It's ridiculous, and it's very dangerous. That's all.
Can we
There's so
involve
much
the
shit.
other counties who are going to be impacted by because the patients are not going to disappear? Can we involve the other counties who are going to be financially impacted by us potentially closing? As a
That would be,
negotiation tool?
that is something that we're going to explore, is about the other counties trying to help out during this transition.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of.
How are people going to get to their treatment? How are people, I understand the need for trying to get this money, but how are these patients who are low income, medically needy, and chronically mentally ill going to go and get their treatment in another county? It's unrealistic. We are the main provider in this county, and it's not fair that as a staff that we have to be involved with this. This is like, we knew about this, Prospect knew about this before.
Yeah, nothing is going to change.
Honey, the sad part is, I completely understand what you're saying, and the sad part is the workers are the only ones that care about the community, unlike everybody else that is higher up. Everybody else could care less because they're already getting paid, and they don't care about the workers. They don't care about the community because at the end of the day, they're in corporate, and of course they can get a higher paying position. The thing that's sad is, like you said, the people that are in the community and the people that actually care about the people in the community and in the schools and getting services and things like that. And then it's 90 days, and now we basically are at square one, and they're basically kind of saying, start looking for jobs because we don't know what's going to happen, and we honestly don't care about what's happening in the community. Yep. That pretty much sums it up.
This decision was made well before this. Yep.
You know, I think that we have done a very good job of caring for people in this community for many, many, many years. And, you know, the
You've
amount
made it
of
clear that you choose profit over people. Thanks.
the amount of money that the county is trying to provide to us is not cutting it. It's just not.
We can't bully them, though. We can't bully them into doing something that they're not able to do. They provide a different rate to us also. So this needs to be worked out in litigation with Magellan and whoever else, Prospect. But the staff, we show up every day and do our jobs. Like, we're the ones who are caring for the patients. Like the close of service that's critical for so many people, thousands of people, and thousands of employees. Like we need to come to reality with this.
Are we going to have any resources for?
I'm
sorry. Are we going to have any resources for the clients? Because essentially, we're going to just abandon them, and this is going to be very devastating for them.
No,
we're like
if it comes to closure, we will have to have other plans that we can transition their care. It's going to be very difficult, but no one's going to abandon anybody.
But it's crazy because technically the county right now, all mental health services are at a halt because of how high the referral rates are. No one's either taking referrals. It's hard to find rehab beds. They can't get psych appointments. They can't get therapy appointments, case management appointments. Due to COVID, the waiting lists are at a standstill because there's not enough staff and positions. So it's going to come to a point in time, everyone's going to end up if we shut down, there's nowhere else for these people to go. It's done. We stopped taking referrals here because of the waiting list being so backed up to like 2021 just to get a therapist. So it's not saying we can find these people or we can resource them or find them services out. How if there's nowhere in their area for them to go?
I think
Omni
that-
isn't accepting
I
people.
agree.
Marikey isn't
I
accepting
think
people.
that
Miramar isn't accepting people.
You know, we have some issues that we take responsibility for, but on the other hand, the county also has to take responsibility, and they have to figure out, since they have the real responsibility, what are they going to do about it? If they have another company that can come in here and do this for a whole lot less, that would be wonderful. The problem is we're underwater providing care, good care, but just not being paid for what we're doing.
Didn't we make better?
Crozer was making
Didn't we
money.
do better during?
What?
Didn't we do better during COVID because we had the telehealth appointments? I mean, there was many slots that were booked because people were able to do phone only or just telehealth in general. I just like
behavioral health has been losing money for a long, long time, and it only
why are we just being told?
Being told incorrectly. You weren't being told the truth.
Wait, but that was coming from the finance department under Prospect, so isn't that concerning?
Yeah, it's concerning. That's why they're not here.
Is there a way we can look at the numbers? Because if the previous, administrators were lying, how can we have, any, truth and believe what's going on right now?
Yeah, we have them, and I don't mind sharing them with you. That's not a bad suggestion, but we also
I would love that.
We shared them also with Sandy Garrison and her team. We turned over all the financials of behavioral health to them.
I think it would be helpful if we're going to advocate to the county to understand, especially in outpatient, since we don't have Cerner, most of our services were virtual, meaning there wasn't a lot of expense within PPE, to be able to explain and understand these losses if we're advocating for it, because it seems like we're advocating for losses that aren't within these departments.
I'll have Arthur do a session of going over the behavioral health finances for you. I think that's a great suggestion.
Great.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Go ahead. So go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
Yes.
Who do you work? Are you a part of Prospect? Because what they've been doing is buying up. Green and his crew have been buying up hospitals and then taking all the money from them and then selling them off. So do you work for Prospect or you work for who do you work for?
Right now, I work for Crozer, but I don't know if that means anything, and that's not really part of this discussion. This is a local discussion. This is a local impact. But Leonard Green's not even part of Prospect anymore. That's ancient history.
Well, they just him and that group have bought up hospitals have been buying up hospitals since 16.
Yeah.
And they, from what I've read, they bought Crozer in 20.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
And then they sold it off.
Leonard Green is no longer part of Prospect, and that is ancient history.
It certainly had an impact on us, though. I mean,
it had an impact on Prospect's cash. It did, but that's when they spun them off, and they're out of them. They bought Leonard Green out years ago.
I have a question about the timeline of everything, just because you're saying that it's 90 days, but it sounds like a lot is up in the air right now, and you're waiting to see if we can get this money from the county. 90 days is not very long. So, like, when are we going to get, like, a definite answer as to, like, which direction this is going?
I already put in a call to Sandy Garrison's office this morning. I have not heard anything about her. I guess because she was out late last night at the hearing. She hasn't come into work yet. But I think that it's Sandy Garrison who's in charge of this. Her board, we're going to have to wait and hear what their next move is.
So how long are you going to wait before you make a decision?
Oh, I can't terminate anything until after the 90 days. So, yeah, if we can't resolve anything in 90 days, then we'll start doing, but that's a last resort. And then we also have to figure out how do we transition care of the patient. So it'd probably be a whole lot longer than 90 days. But yeah, we would start doing it, but we're not doing anything before the 90 days.
So this is Brittany
Theoretically, it
Jones.
would take us a year after that to transition everybody.
So Kevin, one thing again, my recommendation would be if we're still going to advocate for them to give us money, at the same time, we should also be talking to them about opening up so that patients can go to counties. The other counties are still doing telepsych. So our patients that can get there, they still may be able to be helped. The other one that, what was I going to say? The other part, I think, is that we should let our outpatient internal medicine and family medicine docs know, because they are also a resource for at least continuing medication if it does end up closing. You know, there may be a way to embed someone. Is there a way, if it does close it, is there a way to embed psych into our outpatient practices?
Possibly. Yes. And I'll probably be meeting with the psychiatrists separately as well. I know some of them are on the phone right now, but I'll set up a meeting with the psychiatrist and see if at the end, is there a transition pad so we can offer them jobs within family medicine or internal medicine.
I agree. So also it would be case management could go there because you could do a lot there. Social work and therapy is a possibility that could also be run outside in our primary care offices as a way. I know it's not going to necessarily help with the funding, but maybe that's a way that they could save money and keep some of the programs open if they're absorbed into other departments.
Excuse me, so then all of these people have some kind of access, but us little NPs are left hanging out in the clouds?
We're just a couple of hours after this meeting. We haven't worked everything out, although we didn't mention you specifically. That doesn't mean anybody's going to be left in the clouds. We got to work on the details, and I'm reaching out to you to help with the plan. I think you've been helping a lot with some of these suggestions, and I do want to hear from you of how we can make things better. But I think the first step is to really start putting some pressure on the county. What is their plan? In the meantime, Shannon and I will work with you to try to figure out how can we make things better.
I have one last question. As someone doing telehealth and in-person health, many of the clients do read, they do watch TV. What are we handling what we're saying to them?
That for the next 90 days, there'll be no interruption in services. And that was something that we've agreed to, that there will be no interruption in services within the next 90 days. We will have developed transition plans. I hope it doesn't get to that. I hope the county steps up and funds the gap. And if they do not, then we'll have to figure out appropriate transition plans for all of the patients.
Let me just jump in.
Yeah,
let me jump in real quick. Nito Gann, so the acting interim chair. I just want to put it out there. This is really uncertain time, and you know, it's a lot to process. It's a big meeting here. Looks like there's a lot of people on here, 112 people. I just want to put it out there for anyone. There may be some people who don't feel comfortable talking at this meeting. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me, either text or call. And if there's anything to help process some of the stuff that's happening here. I want to also, just say what a great job Shannon really is stepping up to the plate in many, many levels, okay? And she's managing a lot of things here. And I also want to really commend everybody here that's providing really good care to the patients and advocating for the patients. It's a tremendous process to advocate for people who oftentimes don't have anybody to advocate for them. So I just want to put it out there. If you guys really have some difficulty putting something forth at this meeting, feel free to reach out to me directly offline. We have to get creative. Okay, we have to find some solutions. I think staying in the solution, not the problem, right? We want to focus on really figuring out how to solve. The patients aren't at this meeting. Okay, so we want to find some solutions. So if anyone wants to get creative offline, feel free to. My phone number's up at the inpatient unit, and it's at the crisis center. Or you can just call one of those places, and they'll direct you to me. Okay. So for any other questions not addressed at this meeting, that come up later. Thank you.
Dr. Gann, thank you very much. I appreciate your leadership.
So if we have any kind of ideas or any way to come up with a solution to, this little mess that we got going on, how should we go through Dr. Gann, or should we go to you, Kevin?
And Shannon. Shannon is the appropriate person for you to go to. That was very nice.
Are they going to respond to emails as well?
I assume so, yes.
Okay, I've sent a couple and I haven't heard back.
Okay.
May I ask, who in the county? I mean, who is the go-to person, and what part of the county is this? Because I don't understand. I'm wondering if going to a state representative might be helpful. Going to a higher chain of command to put more pressure on who funds us.
I think that on the local level at Sandy Garrison, at the Delaware County Department of Human Services, but you're absolutely free to go to anyone, your state representatives, and your federal representatives. If there's a local congressman, if there's a local senator that you could go to, I think it's all of the above, and whether it's 90 days or 120 days, what is their plan? Their only plan was to extend it to 180 days. They can't make laws retroactive. What is the county's or the state's plan to help us? Helping us is the easiest thing. Replacing us with some other level of care is absolutely unrealistic. So
this is the Delaware County of Human Services? Is that
Delaware County Department of Human Services?
Delaware County Department. Thank you.
610-713-2324.
Thank you.
Everybody, I have to jump off. I want to thank you for your leadership. I know these are very, very, very difficult times. I'm trying to be as direct and honest with you as possible. These are very hard issues to deal with, and for that I apologize. But I think the best thing is to be direct and let you know what is going on. I will keep you informed as this progresses, but you're very important to Crozer. You play a vital role in the behavioral health of this region. And I thank you for what you do for the patients in this region. Shannon, any closing remarks? Everybody, thank you.
Yep, have a good one.
Hello?